What's up, everybody? Danger Rock here. Today we're going to be looking at some of my favorite Spider-Man action figures in my collection. Today we're going to be looking at the Spectacular Spider-Man animated series figures released by Hasbro in 2008. Some of these were released in 2009 when the wave changed later to Spider Charged. But we're going to take a look at each one of these figures today because they're really reminiscent from that cartoon. And as some of you have watched my other videos, you know I say that Spectacular Spider-Man is my favorite incarnation of the wall crawler, and it's also my favorite superhero cartoon ever to this day. This was when Josh Keaton played the role of Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and the series was just great. The storytelling, the animation, I just loved everything about it. Unfortunately, it ran for 2 seasons and got cut due to legal reasons between Marvel and Sony. But right here we have some of the figures from the show, and I was really happy to see this incarnation of Spider-Man appear in the film Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. We see Josh Keaton's Spider-Man makes a cameo appearance in it. So I'm very happy to have these figures in my collection, and we're going to take a look at each one of them because they're all awesome. So the first one we're going to be taking a look at is the Wave 1 Spider-Man, I call it, because this guy here came with a suction cup web that you can stick to the wall. One thing that I really like about this figure a lot is his mask. And I say that because he's got these open eyes here, which these other two don't. They look more like curved, even though these guys right here might be a little bit show accurate, but it's kind of hard to tell because Spider-Man's eye lenses do change in the show when he's making a certain facial expression. So one thing I don't agree with is the web pattern that they use. The web on this one looks a lot more accurate to the show, but I really like the red vibrant colors that they used. I really like the dark blue texture. It almost looks like more of a turquoise blue. And my favorite part about the figure is the spider on the back. I absolutely love that they included this spider on him. And one thing I really like is, even though these aren't like the modern day Marvel Legends where they give us like all these crazy accessories, he still has pretty good articulation. He's got head articulation, torso articulation, arm articulation, elbow articulation. He's got ball jointed feet, ball jointed knees. And it's still really good for me because here we got a whipping hand, here we got a gripping hand. And if you just look at this figure overall, to this day it still holds up. This is still, if not, it's probably my favorite Spider-Man action figure, because even though this guy over here and this guy over here have more posability, this was the first one that they ever released for that TV show in action figure form. So I feel very lucky to own this guy in my collection. I've had him for a very long time, and it was so fun seeing the reaction 8-year-old me had when he saw these on Kmart shelves. I was like, oh, I wanted one, because I also saw Venom and Green Goblin were my 2 other favorite figures in the wave, as well as the Vulture, and the Shocker was my favorite figure from this wave. But just having this guy right here is just incredible. I'm so happy to own him in my collection. If I had to tell anybody out there you can only buy one Spider-Man figure out there, this is the one that you want to get, because this was the first one in that whole wave of figures. But if you get these 2 other guys right here, you can't really go wrong because they're equally as awesome. But for me, I just had to have this one. That one's always going to be one of my favorites. So this next one we're going to be looking at, you could tell they've definitely improved on the design. They gave him a lot more articulation in his chest. He has waist articulation now. You can actually rotate his hands now like the modern day Marvel Legends, which when these came out, Marvel Legends was still a thing. It was still, they were just getting out of the Toy Biz era and switching over to the Hasbro era. but this figure is still great. See, I have the one with the peg hole right here because this is the one that came with a web dart. I don't have that because I got this guy loose for pretty cheap. And I'm so happy to have him. Like, just look at the back. Not only do we see a really nice spider right here, I actually sculpted in all of his like muscles on the suit and everything. This is just great. I'm so happy to have this. And just like look at those like eye lenses that they use. I kind of like the other one better because if we take a look at the other one, they both are show accurate. As you can see, Spider-Man makes a bunch of facial expression when he does. His eye lens actually move. But this guy right here kills it because he has so much more posability. Now, what's interesting about him, though, is that he has elbow articulation in his left arm and not his right arm because of his play feature. He has a hole for a web dart right here, which I actually should have grabbed my other Spectacular Spider-Man figure because it doesn't have that, so I can show the difference. But we're going to touch on the differences more in some of my other videos. So for this video, I just want to show this guy off. All these figures have peg holes at the bottom of their feet. And for a while, it was like a phase how that one right there is my favorite, always be my favorite. And when I got this guy, it was kind of hard to tell which one was better because I like both figures for different reasons. And I'm like, oh, they made it better. They gave him all this more posability. And just when I thought it couldn't get any better, they did make it better. This, they absolutely killed it with this one. Because, here, let's bring that other one out so we could show the difference. This one right here, he has butterfly joints. He has more articulation in his chest area. And he has toe articulation. So that is awesome. You can get this guy in all kinds of spidery poses. It's awesome. And just look at them from the back. You can see how they have all that extra great articulation. So what's interesting, though, is if we put these two guys exactly next to each other, they look like the exact same figure, which they are not. I think just because the chest area in this guy has more articulation, he kind of looks like he's a centimeter or two taller than this guy right here. But you can't go wrong with either one of them. If I had to recommend one, I would recommend you got to get both of these guys because they're both equally awesome. And what's really interesting too is another thing that's kind of hard to tell the difference is they both have the exact same poses in their hand. We got a gripping hand and a thwipping hand. So that's awesome. The only difference here is you can actually rotate his wrist, which you can't do with this guy. But it don't really bother me too much because this is still an awesome figure. Still gotta get all these guys because they're all awesome. If you're looking for these guys, eBay is the best bet. Like, I found one. The thing is, I saw these guys right here going new in the box for like $300, which I would just let it sit. I mean, I wouldn't pay that. I would try to get a loose one because the loose ones don't cost anywhere near as much. I see this guy right here. He pops up on eBay all the time. These two guys right here, you can find them pretty easily, but the condition I find them in, their paints are faded and they don't come with their accessories. But every now and then you can find one of these for a good price in very good condition. So I would definitely suggest going on eBay or maybe even Mercari. These guys appear on Mercari as well. As far as comparisons go, what I want to bring in is another Spider-Man figure that was released in 2008, 2009, which I actually really loved as well. Here we got the Spider-Man Trilogy Classic Heroes Spider-Man. This is the orange and blue version, which they released this figure right here in several different colors. There was an orange and blue, there was a red and blue, there was a red and black one. Me, I just have this orange and blue one, and it looks absolutely awesome. This one looks more of like a comic book Spidey, though. You could tell just by the spider on his chest. But he also stands at 6 inches tall. It's really great if you put these two guys right next to each other because they're all awesome. And I would highly recommend picking up all these guys. They're definitely worth it. They're definitely worthy entries in every Spider-Man collection. So if you had to do what I do, I would suggest army building them and get as many of them as I can, because if you have like your Spider-Man shelf, or the term I call it, the Spider-Verse shelf, you're going to want to have as many of these guys as you can. But this guy right here still being my favorite because he was one of the first Spider-Mans I ever got. The first Spider-Man I ever gotten was the superposable Spider-Man 3. This was the second one I've gotten in my collection, and it just never stopped from there. I kept getting as many of them as I possibly could. So I recommend picking one of these guys up. You definitely want to pick up this guy. He won't disappoint you, and he's definitely worth it because he's from the greatest superhero cartoon of all time. So this has been my video today of showing off these spectacular Spider-Man action figures. I'm going to be showing more of the differences in the different variations of Spider-Man that they've made over the years. So we'll touch more on these two guys in my future videos. But if you like this video, please leave a like. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And once we reach 1,000 subscribers on this channel, I will be doing a full collection video, so stay tuned for that. Let me know in the comments down below, do you think Spectacular Spider-Man's the greatest incarnation of Spider-Man? Which one of these figures is your favorite? And if they bring back any happy memories from when you were a kid, I really look forward from hearing from you guys. And which one is your favorite? Did I miss one, or is there one that's not shown here that's better than these guys right here? I really look forward from hearing from you guys. Thank you guys for watching as always, and I'll see you guys on the next video review.